Hi guys, so today I'm really excited to start out this video showing you the Salt New York, the new Sneaky Balm. It's right there in the middle. And then I want to show you some swatches of the blushes that I got. I got 7 more. So I wanted to show you all of that. And then I'm just going to talk a little bit about the coverage and show you I'm actually wearing it, so we'll see how that works. I record on my phone and I don't have like a great way to flip this or anything, so there might be a little bit of awkwardness in here, but let's work with it. So this is the Sneaky Balm in the shade N12, and it's the lightest shade they have. I was a little bit worried when I first got it because it's a touch darker than I thought it was going to be. I'm gonna show it to you. It's actually the one right there above the blushes, and you can see it is a little bit darker for me. But when I put this on, I was so happily surprised that it really doesn't read very dark on me. It just may be a hair darker than I like to go, but totally workable. And I think that has a lot to do with the formula. I would love it if they came out with one shade lighter though. I mean, that would just be perfect. Or if they had the corrector in this formula, so if they had a white corrector so that I could adjust it myself, that would be great. As you can see, it's just a touch. My arms and my face are like the same color. But because that's a heavier swatch, it's a little more noticeable that it's a little bit off in color. But when wearing it, or how I wore it today with the coverage I had, it was totally fine. So let me show you the brush that I use to apply it. I know she recommends using a sponge. I just don't really use sponges that much. I just don't like cleaning them. So this is a Trish McEvoy Wet Dry Precise face brush. It's a little bit bigger than like a normal flat top concealer brush. It actually has an angle, but I love this for like concealers that I'm using as foundations. So this is what I applied it with. It went on really well. So I think that's a good option. And what I really liked is it doesn't settle weirdly into my pores. So that's one of my big issues, especially with like the Westman Atelier foundation. It just sinks weird. And I just want, if this kind of product where I want it effortless, I want it to just blend into my skin. And even if it has lighter coverage, just even out some tone and not look very noticeable. So that is the foundation shade. And then I'm going to switch over showing you some of the swatches of these blushes. Aren't they so beautiful? Okay, so some of them are the ones I already had, and then I'm going to show you the swatches here. So we're going to start out with right at the top is Lilac. And that's the first one there in the pan. And it kind of shows you too, like how some of these look very similar in the pan, even though, on the swatch, even though on the pan they look really kind of drastically different. This would be a great way to adjust if something seems too warm on me. I can put a little bit of this on it and that will adjust. Then underneath that, we have Sugar Plum. I think this is really nice. It's a little bit deeper than like the rose shade, and it's still like really wearable. I think a lot of people would like that. Then underneath that, we have Blackberry. I didn't get this the first time around, and it is so beautiful. I am gonna love that shade, I know. Then we have Floor, and that is so vivid and beautiful. It actually really reminds me of Pop It from Westman Atelier, and I think it's actually like a really good dupe for it because it gives you that punchy color, and it's much cheaper. So I want to actually swatch them next to each other. I should have done that for this video, but it definitely gives you that same effect of like a little pop of color that really brightens up your eyes. Then we have Raspberry underneath the Floor. That is such a wearable shade. All of these are coming like a similar tone, but Raspberry is super beautiful. I really like that one a lot. Then we have underneath that is Cranberry. So Raspberry and Cranberry look more alike than I thought they were going to. Cranberry just has a touch more of red in it, but very pretty. And I think that that's one of those shades that I could see myself wearing a lot, especially in the winter time. Okay, so then we move over to like my warm side. And the first one there is Peach. And that's actually like really kind of comparable color-wise to Minette from Westman Atelier, as sort of my reference for that. And then we have Tangerine, which I'm not really sure why I got that one, but it was calling me because it was one of the limited editions. It also like is very, very warm, really pretty, but definitely I think for deeper skin tones. Then we have my little row here of these warm shades. And the first one there is Rose. And that's what I think, like, if you look at Sugar Plum, it's just like a little bit more of a plummy, mauvey version of Rose. Rose is so neutral, really pretty. I get why that one's really popular. Then underneath that, much darker, is Terracotta. And that's really warm. I mean, if I was going to go back again, I probably wouldn't get Terracotta and Tangerine, but like, they're both very beautiful. But I just think that I wouldn't necessarily have needed them. And then there's the two that I'm really excited about. So it's Cocoa and then it is spiced. And cocoa is what I'm wearing today. It has like a little bit of coolness to it, which I absolutely love, and it's super pretty. And then spice is just, just maybe a hair warmer than the cocoa. I mean, in here you can see the two different colors, but I do think they look different swatched than they do in the pan. And then just for reference, especially next to these warm shades here, I wanted to give my bronzer shades so that you could see. So there's the contour, and then there's the tan, or like the light bronzer shade. And if you can see next to cocoa there, that's what I really wanted to show it next to. That cocoa shade is much more of a shade that I'd want to bronze with, especially around my cheeks, than the light bronzer. So I definitely, the face ones for me don't work as well. I love this sort of bronzing blush shade. Okay, so I'm gonna flip around just